It's pleasure to be part of this session. Nice to see so many of you sincerely participating in this. So, but it's not so easy. It's post lunch, right? And you're online, and I don't know which position you are at your home. So please be alert, right? Stay focused. So I'll try to share a few things and then try to, particularly I'll uh, try to show you or share my experience with the the UHV, right? This universal human values we are talking about, and when we actually try to implement in the college, in our life, and then in the profession, what could be the benefits, and then how things will turn, right? So that's the special focus I want to add it towards the end. But before that, let me uh, take up the content, right? So I hope my presentation.
Yes, it is visible.
Professor in mechanical engineering at NIT Warangal in Telangana state. So I also am part of the Center for Holistic Development of Human Consciousness. Basically, it's a part of an NGO which works for. I also give time to an NGO which works for this spread of this UHV content in academics and in the larger society. So I am also associated with it, and then I work in that with some of my friends. Okay. So let's continue where in the previous session Giri has left it. So Giridhar was discussing about quite a few things, right? Whatever we are discussing this FDP, myself, the previous speaker or previous, all the speakers. So we are saying this probably quite a few things. We are saying things in a repeated fashion, but we are aware of it. We are deliberate about it. So let me repeat this again, that whatever is said is, is a proposal, and then we are requesting you to please, whatever input I am giving, don't take it and say that okay, such and such person has said it, I want to follow it. It's not so. We are saying that this is an input for you, please verify on your it, and this verify it, and based on that you accept or reject or whatever, right? But then it should become finally your own proposal. So how will it become your own thing, right? Your own thing. It can become your content, your the understanding, only when you verify it, and only when this internal dialogue takes place in you. This is, I am speaking, you are listening, so it's a dialogue, and you are responding to me. So it's a dialogue between you and me. But then once you take it and think about it, verify with your own natural acceptance, and that is what the dialogue goes on inside, and then you come out and you come out with a conclusion, and feel that, yeah, so it seems this is the right way, this is the wrong way, right? So such state we all want to achieve, right? So in the previous session and before that sessions yesterday also, Professor Pradeep, Giridhar, Professor Rajiv Sangal, all these people were discussing about these things, and this has been concluded that the basic human aspiration of every human being, whether whatever level, wherever you are, the basic human aspiration is happiness, prosperity, and its continuity. So I'm saying this in three parts. We all want to be happy, we all want to be prosperous, and not only that, we can be happy and prosperous for a few moments, for a few days, and for some partially for some time. The what is actually the most strong condition here is that the desire is that we want the continuity of this happiness and prosperity, and bits and pieces we all have it, but what we are looking for here is the continuity. That is basic thing. If this is the basic aspiration of every single human being, right? And then with this aspiration, every parent, why you are sending your kid to the school, why some parents are sending their kids to our college. They have certain expectation that okay, I'll send here and then he'll get something, and because based on that he'll be happy and all. So the expectation from the education is in two parts. One is this understanding the aspiration itself, that okay, this person has this aspiration, every person has this aspiration, and then how do you achieve this aspiration. So the first part is understanding what to do, and the second part is learning how to do, right? And as of now, what we are doing is that we don't want to even this hard question, because this question confuses us. This question, disturbs us because we want to be in our, own ignorant comfort zone. The moment we ask this question, why are you doing what you are doing? We are not comfortable, right? If I ask why we are doing what you are doing, right? That it's not a comfortable question. But then by several facing this uncomfortable questions, we will, rise, we will develop, right? So these two parts in the education, that is what figuring out what to do and then learning how to do, right, are together, form uh, the agenda for the education. So are both these things important? Sorry, I think I came out of the presentation. Yeah. In between, I'll take feedback from you, right? Feedback from you. So do you think both of them are important, right? Or we can just do a see as of now. Now, what is happening, right? Is it are we paying attention to first working on our clarity of what to do before how to do? Yes or no, or what do you think is happening? Can some of you respond with your messages in the chat? The best way to listen to any boring lecture, any lecture for that matter in the afternoon, is to be interactive. That is the best way to not to fall asleep, right? Right. Otherwise, with this all online medium, right, you may be sleeping. Yeah. So assume that you are agreeing. So we need to understand what to do part, and we also need to learn how to do part. So the first part, understanding what to do, is what we are calling as value education. The second part, how to do part, is what we are calling as a technical education. And between the two, if you just pay some attention, we will find out that the first part, the value education, is the higher priority, and then comes the technical education. Right? When we say these things, we are not discounting or we are reducing the value of the technology, the value of the engineering and all, but then we are trying to put it in the right place, without which we may over evaluate or would under evaluate. Even we may not even do a good job at the technology and the engineering. Right? When we understand the value education but clear, what to do but clear, and then the technology also will be much better. And when we say these two things, unfortunately, we have, the moment we say two things, we conclude that the moment we say values, then we conclude that you are undervaluing the technology. That's not so. We have to understand the like day and night, like mother and father, right? Like these things together, they make up the whole story, right? It is about properly understanding these two, putting together. It's not over evaluating something and under evaluating something. So the moment we say two things, so we quickly come to conclusion that there is an opposition between these two. There is no opposition, there is a complementarity. This word complementarity is very nice. Both of them go together, and then it will be much better. Whereas we think either thus, either that, or either this, right? So when you understand this complementarity, values and skill, we will be able to do an excellent job at the skills. Will be very good with the values also, and thereby we'll be doing a better job at the education from our institutes, right? If this is the agenda of the education, both values and skills is the agenda of the education, and who is responsible, right? Like, is only the school teachers responsible, only the college teachers responsible? Is it responsible the parents? Is it responsibility of celebrities? Is it responsibility of TV or paper or social media, Facebook, Insta, or whatever, right? In fact, it is a responsibility of everybody. It is a responsibility of every one of us. The teachers are involved, parents are involved, society members are involved, entire society is involved, which includes media, role models, celebrities, everybody, right? When we understand this, we see that everybody is playing a role, right? But then we also know that none of us are ready to take this responsibility, and none of us, whether it is teachers or parents or the society, the different units in the society, all are not doing their part properly. right? And all have gone wrong, and everybody is on a shaky ground. So where do we start? Of course, we have to start wherever we are. See, I am there as a parent, so I'll do something with my children. I'm working in a college, right? I'll do something with my students, right? I'm there in the family, I'll do something in the family. I'm playing a role in the society, I'll do something. So wherever we are, we can start instead of hoping somebody come and start. And certainly at any given point of time, all of us have more than 1 2 3 roles, right? So we can start wherever we are. Many of us are in higher education, so we are trying to do something at the higher education sector. And particularly it's more important because these boys and girls, most of them, 90%, what 90%, 95% of them, more than that in fact, are not going to study further, right? This is a lost opportunity they have to get something meaningful from the education, and they are the graduates. They're going to graduate and become responsible people of the society, and very soon parents of the society. In educating them, you are educating the next generation as well. So that's what through the UHV and the ASCT initiative, we're trying to bring up this change, right? Again, as I said, everything whatever said is a proposal. Please verify it using these two filters. The filter one is whatever I am saying, is it acceptable to you? When I say that a parent is responsible for the conduct of the child, is it acceptable? Verify it on your natural acceptance, right? As a parent, is it acceptable for you to guide your child? Yes or no? Just verify. Filter one. And filter two is, right, when okay, it is acceptable. When I do that, will it lead to mutual happiness of my child and myself? That is filter two. The filter two has two parts. When it is coming with the behavior, any act of mine related to the behavior should lead to mutual happiness. And then when I act with the nature, when I work, right, when we are working means we are working with the nature, and that should lead to prosperity. So this is a two level filter we have to verify anything that comes to us. In fact, whether you understand anything else or not, if we are able to switch on this filter in each of us, right, each of us, that this innate filter is there which we are not using. If we start using this, any amount of information that is coming from outside through media, through TVs, through friends, through books or whatever, if this is installed, if this is active in every human being, every student, right, every teacher, every member of the society, and then we don't have to blame on the input that comes from anywhere, right? Since this filter is not on, we are just taking things as it is, whatever we like based on our conditioning, and that's where we are getting wrong, and we are not aligned with our natural acceptance. Using this filter, we can be aligned with more and more with the natural acceptance, which means we'll be in much more harmonious state. We'll end up be more productive and travel towards the excellence. So this was covered in the previous speakers, but then I'm just repeating few things, right? So then comes, right, again, coming to the basic question again, what do we all want, right? What do we all want? You can just after this session, you can just make a list of things. What do you all want? You want money, you want house, you want a insurance scheme, you don't want corona, you want some name, you want some fame, you want promotion, whatever, like you want a phone, or you want a tab, you want a laptop. Things like this you can make, and see, do a small analysis what all we want. Okay, and then analyze why from every single thing, what am I expecting, like that you can do a small analysis, and then you'll find that this I am not going to repeat, I'm just recalling what is said, right? About, you want to get something, right? You want to be owner of some things, or you want to become something, right? The first thing is about the what you see in the slide on the leftmost side is about, like, you want to become, like kuch banna cha rahe aap, right? The second one is about you want to get something, or you want to do something. You want to do a hiking, you want to do some adventure, you want to travel and things like that, right? But then again, ask further why I want to do it. What is the expectation, right? With what expectation that I'm looking for this. Then you little analysis, you'll find that even by doing all this, is what am I looking for is happiness and the prosperity. So many professions are shown, but our own profession is not shown. So I've added. So I want to become a professor. Many of you are faculty, right? You want to become, you are assistant professor, associate. You want to become a professor, or say, let's say, like, why do you want to become a professor? You want to teach, right? Okay. What? But then you can teach in any position. Why? Because you can get some administrative roles. Why that? Then you can get some money. And why some position, right? So you can get some respect. Okay. If you get all of this, what is, what is that, you are aiming for? Then you will come to a conclusion that, okay, even through this process also, what I am looking for is happiness and prosperity. Not only professor is not attracting to me, I want to become head of the department, I want to become principal, the director. So why? Maybe I don't want to teach, because some of you may not, some of us may not even, like teaching. But then you can become a boss, you can get more money, more respect, but then again further investigate, why is this? Again you'll find that, this is also for happy and prosperity, right? So this comes to this conclusion that the things in the column 1 and 2 are more of the steps towards the goal. Our goal is happiness and prosperity. Every single person, that is what is your target, your desire, your aim, your objective, your purpose, right? Right. But what I have in mind, what all my planning are the steps towards the goal. How do we achieve, right? How part is, are the detailing, and we are more worried about the detailing than the final goal. That is where, we get stressed, we get into trouble. The more focus we have on the column 1 and the column 2, ignoring or not aware of the column 3, that is when we get into trouble. This discussion we take up with the students also, right? With the students also we take up and say that, students gets into NIT, goes into IIT, but then he's unhappy. Why? Because he want ECE, he got triple E. He want CSC, he got mechanical. So so the thing is, like, he wants to become something, he want to get some admission or something, right? The focus is on that. He thinks that getting this branch is the end of, life. That is the most important thing. Whereas if you understand this, that, okay, getting particular branch, getting in fact a particular institute is a step, a intermediate step in the final destination. And then I understand that, okay, in some intermediate step has not occurred, not happened according to my way, then I'll change ways. See, I want to go to Delhi from Hyderabad and I missed a train. What will I do? I'll catch another train. Going to Delhi is more important than going by a particular train, right? If I'm clear that going to Delhi, right? So that's the distinction, we want, all of us to make, and then help the students to, see these two things as separate, and then see the larger picture. The destination, that is happy and prosperous, being in that state, is more important than this intermediate step, right? Right. So this happiness and prosperity is our basic aspiration. So here we conclude that our basic aspiration is, happiness and prosperity, and we also want the continuity of it. So do we want happiness, prosperity only for, few moments, or all the time? Right. So we want this happiness and prosperity all the time. So we want the continuity of it. But what is the status? Am I happy all the time? All the time? Is there a continuity? These are all, questions. Definitely I am not feeling happy all the time. Definitely I am not feeling, prosperous all the time. And just, forget about the continuity part. So there is a gap between what I want to be feel happy always, but I am not able to be happy. And there is this gap. So this gap is between, what I want to be and what I am. This is the gap. And then as time passes, right, this gap is actually, is not getting filled. One would expect that as I earning more, right, as my level is increasing at a physical facility level, one expects that, this gap should get filled, but whereas it is increasing, right? And then we have to really see, why is it happening, right? So what I'm doing in terms, I want continuity of happiness and prosperity, but where am I putting my effort, right? when I look at my effort, all the time the focus of my efforts is to get more physical facilities, that is more money, more reputation, more position and such things, right, at material level. Now, more and more material level achievements will lead to more happiness. Is there a guarantee of it? Right, but it looks like that is the deep assumption all of we have assumed that happiness and prosperity will be ensured when we have a lot of physical facilities, right? And then we are making effort for that. Are we making any exclusive effort, right? Are we taking out time and effort to work for our own happiness, prosperity, right, other than accumulation of physical facilities? So these are the questions that one can reflect on, right? So this is some point I raised. So I would like, okay, I have to scroll down for the messages. Actually, I didn't notice that there are messages. Let me see. Yeah. So happiness is in is in everyone from born. Then why we find it outside? Yeah, yeah. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Right. So far, can you see that our basic aspiration is happiness and prosperity? Right. Are you clear? Are you convinced that though these goals are different, the steps towards it are different, the basic aspiration is this? Can you respond in the chat? Can you respond in the chat? Some people.
Okay, Hari sir, continue. Only
Yeah.
Q and A is visible. People are confusing between chat box and Q and A. Q and A is only chat box.
Okay. Yeah. In the Q&A, you can type, right? You can type in the Q&A, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll continue. So there is no doubt, that we focus a lot on the physical facility. Then 100 thoughts, 100 thoughts are going on inside us. We forget about the physical facility and we start thinking about many things. So the role of the physical facility is there, but then there is more than the physical facilities that is required for a human being to fulfill his basic aspiration, right? Just to make this point clear, so I'm just showing a small table, right? So let's say we can observe people in the society, right? So I'm putting some people in the category 1. So those who have physical facilities, those who do not have physical facilities, that is no for a physical facilities, and they're unhappy as well. And there is a second category that there are physical facilities, they have physical facilities, but they are either not happy or not sure whether they're happy. And there is this third category where physical facilities and then we also have a happiness. So in which category we want to be, either in category 1 or category 2 or category 3? The category 1 is like we don't have physical facilities, we are not happy as well. The two is we have physical facilities but not sure about the happiness. And the third one, when having both happiness and the physical facilities. So these three, and among these three categories, obviously naturally acceptable for all of us is the category 3, right? For category 3 we can see that, right, the physical facilities will be there in the category 3, but then we want happiness, right? What more is required, other than the physical facility? Can you say that the person, the richest man is the most happiest person, right? Can you say that you have some amount of physical facility, right? You have some amount of physical facility, right? uh, okay, messages are there. Yeah, I'm just looking at some messages. Yeah, I'll come to that, some of these questions. So you have some X amount of physical facilities. Let us say there is another person who have 2X amount of physical facilities. Can we conclude that he is double happy than you? Can we conclude that is double happier than you? Right? We can't, right? So which means there is something more than the physical facilities. So that is what I'm coming to, right? So the more than the physical facilities, what we need is, we need relationships, right? In the family, see, we can have a lot of money, but if you don't have good relation with your wife, right, we can't be happy, right? You can have a great house, great air conditioner, these things, but we cannot be happy. Similarly, the college may have all kinds of facilities. If the relationship with the colleagues are not good, it's not a good place to good place to work, right? Good place to work, right? So without the relationships, right, we can't be we can't be happy, right? All the time we are related to these people, right? Related to people. Without having this right relations, without paying attention in understanding the right relations and fulfilling these relations, the happiness cannot be ensured, because you're always there as a part of a family or part of a office, or you're in the society. Unless we have good relations with these people, day in and day out we have conflicts, right? There are going to be issues. Any amount of owning certain physical facilities is not going to solve the issue of the relationships, right? Right? And then in the family also we can see, you can see for yourself yourself that the issues we are facing, let's say in your department, and you're working in a college, or you're there in the family with your wife, do we have issues at the level of physical facility level or a relationship level? At which level we have more issues? Right. So you will find that the issues are more at a relationship level. We always have these issues with the principal, with the head of the department, with some other colleague, and at a home, at family, in the family, or in the extended family, with brothers, sisters, sister-in-laws, mother. Hello.
Yes, Hari sir, continue. Yes.
Yeah, there was some break, it seems. So yeah, continue. Yeah. Right. When these issues, when we are free of these issues, then only we can be happy. So hence we can see this much very obvious. In fact, these are all not very difficult things. Obviously we need money, we need facilities, we also need relationships. That's pretty obvious. In fact, if you by common sense also we can conclude. But at the same time, we already have relationships. None of us are born out of air. We are born to parents, right? We are part of some society in some organization. Relationships are there, but then what is problem is that the relationships themselves are the problem. We are not able to conduct well in the relationships, and we have some issues in the relationship. Though we don't want to fight with people, we want to have good relationship good relationship with everyone, with all the colleagues. We want the best relationship. We want cooperation from everybody in the family. We want to have nice relations, but then that's not happening, right? And I try whatever possible, but even then the issues are there, right? Even then the issues are there. So why are these issues happening? Because there is something more other than the physical facility relationship. I need to understand these relationships deeply. How do I conduct myself well in the relationships, right? What are the expectations of other person, and then how do we handle when not able to meet expectations? Why the other person is behaving this way? What should be my behavior in such situation? So these kind of clarity is missing. And not only the clarity, the capacity in me to behave in such situations is missing. Hence, though I have friends, I have colleagues, I have family members, but then the happiness that's supposed to come from the relationships is not coming, right? When this is not coming all the time, what we conclude is that it is my wife who has to change, right? It is the colleague who has to change. It is my principal who is a useless fellow. It is my head of the department who is dumb fellow, right? So this is the conclusion we make, and we want them to improve. This is the conclusion we come to. And then unhealthy working place. Yeah, I'll count. The very nice questions are coming. So let me complete some presentation, and then I'll come to the questions. Very nice questions are coming, right? So this is coming, right? So the third thing that is required other than the physical facilities and the right relationship is the right understanding. So in the bracket it's written the clarity. I need to have this clarity, right, about relationships. How do I what are the expectations in relationship? How do I conduct and how do I handle each relationship? And similarly, the clarity about the physical facilities. See, it's like this. If I take myself, or in my family, in my friends, we take, like, my income are doubled and tripled over the years. But if you ask me whether I'm feeling prosperous, actually not all the time. And then I feel that it is nothing got to do with the money. Even after doubling, tripling, if I'm not feeling prosperous, it is not got to do with the income. The current income also get doubled, but still I may not even feel prosperous. That is because it's a situation of I myself not having clarity. It's not about amount of money I have, amount of facilities I have. If you clearly see according to the needs, I have more than the needs, but then the feeling is not there. Similar in the relationship, I have wife, I have 2 kids, parents are there, and children are there, sister, every relationships are there. But am I happy in every relationship? No. Again, I am missing. I am lacking clarity on how do I fulfill, in the relationship. And for every lack of fulfillment, for every issue in the relationship, the attitude is what? Right? Blame other person. The blame the other person. So this is, and expecting that other person has to change. So this is the situation we are in. This is what will happen as long as we don't pay attention to the higher thing. That is a right understanding. So among the right understanding, relationship, physical facilities. Physical facilities means money mostly, because we are all looking at everything in terms of money. Any amount of money is not going to increase our happiness proportionately, right? Just by having more people is not going to improve your relationship, the level of relationship you have with the people. It is the clarity in me. It's the clarity in me which is the key for my happiness and the prosperity. So what is my focus? Is my focus only on the physical facilities? If that is the case, what will happen is that all the time I'm running after things, right? My entire energy, entire effort is going towards that, and then there won't be much improvement in the relationship. That leads to the unhappiness. Similarly, even though I accumulate a lot of physical facilities, or whatever physical facilities I can get hold of, right, but still I will not be having this feeling of prosperity. Rather I will feel deprived, right? I always feel that I don't have enough. If there is an opportunity, I want to submit that small bill of some manipulated bill in the account section and get it passed, or when I'm settling the accounts of programs like FDP, I want to submit one more bill. This is the kind of thing I may still do it, independent of what salary, what income I'm getting, because I lack clarity. I'm still thinking that more physical facilities is more happiness. That is the level I'll be operating. Some noise is coming, Yogesh, maybe you may have to mute it, or yeah, and continue. I'm continuing. This is the state we will be in. There will be physical facilities with us because we are focusing on it. We'll get physical facilities, there is no doubt about it, right? But then we'll still feel deprived, we'll still feel unhappiness, we'll still looking for an opportunity to earn a little more physical facilities, little more money, and then the relationship will continue to be sour. So that will be the status if you just focus on the physical facilities. This much is actually good enough for an animal. So animal all the time is looking just for the survival, right? It's looking for survival, just want to be alive, and it focuses on only the bodily needs and the physical facilities. That is natural for an animal. But a human being also assumes himself or herself to be just a body, and trying to look at only that level, a small level. Basically, we are downgrading ourselves. We are downgrading ourselves. We are just looking at only the physical facilities part. But then we cannot be like an animal. Once the stomach is full, it's it's contented, right? But our entire problem starts after our stomach is full, right? So that's our situation. So we have to understand ourselves better and see that the relationships play very important part, and then they play a much more important part than the physical facilities. And then to do justice in the relationship and with the physical facilities, it is the clarity in me, the samaj, the right understanding in me is what will help me to make my relationship better and to achieve the mutual prosperity with the physical facilities. And see, as an evolutionary process, right, as a reality, as an evolutionary process, all of us by default, and most of us are at this level, called this level of physical facility is the whole and soul of the life. That is the level we are in, right? That is small circle, that red circle what you're seeing in the presentation is that. And now I have to expand it to this big circle, right, which is looking like actually ellipse in the slides. That's fine, right? That big blue circle, which is actually enclosing all the three. Remember, the big circle is not excluding physical facilities. We are not saying that money is not important. We are saying that money is important, relationships are important. In fact, right understanding is more important than these two things, and then everything will fall into place. So rising our level of consciousness, I am a human being, rising the level of my consciousness, my perspective, my clarity, that I have to live with these three things as my objective, rather than this one small thing of physical facilities. This transformation happening from the small circle to the big circle, thinking that physical facilities is the only thing in the life, to thinking that, right, physical facilities are important, relationships are important, right understanding is the most important. Rising to this level is the transformation process, right? If I'm developing, right, where you say lot developing country, developed person, like that, what is meant by development? If this development happens in me, that is what transformation or the real development. And the education is expected to facilitate this process, right? The human being is at a small circle, and then taking him to this big circle, like educating him, giving such sanskar, such education, such a way that one pays attention to all these three things. That is what is the purpose of the education. We have to facilitate this transformation. As a teacher, my job is this, right? My job is this, right? Education institute is supposed to facilitate this process. As a person, I have to handhold the students to do this process. But I can do this only, see, I can show direction to somebody only I know that address, right? If somebody comes and asks me where is the clock tower, where is this particular shop, I can only tell when I know the address. When I myself have not traveled this distance, how can I be a guide to others, right? So hence there is more and more importance right? That like other content, like information related to engineering, which we just you know read up or do practice some problem and explain, it cannot be done like that. The information given is just an information. Unless we ourselves reflect and live according to that and change our priorities, behave like that, work like that, we won't be able to guide our students, right? Yeah. So what is meant by this right understanding, right? When we say clarity, the clarity about what? First thing is that I have to have clarity about myself, what I am, right? What I am as a human being, what I am, right? Understanding the individual, and then I am there as a member of a office, member of a college, member of a family, where you have a group of people. So what are the dynamics at that level in the family? I have to understand. And then and these many so many people in the world are organized into societies. So I have to understand these dynamics at the level of the society, the harmony in the society. And similarly, we interact with the nature, we depend on the nature, right? We live because of the nature. So I need to understand the harmony at that level. So understanding individual, family, society, nature level is what is clarity, what is right understanding. And not only understand, right, I have to live according to it, right? Live according to it. That's what is the scope of understanding and living. And this is what is the content of the workshop. One by one it will be explained in the workshop. So the first part is harmony in the human being, family, society, nature. That is scope of understanding. And whatever I understood it, so I understood that for healthy life, this I have to do activity A, activity B, activity C. To be able to do the have commitment to be able to do these activities is what scope of living, right? So this is the program for continuous happiness. And I already mentioned these things, that what actually we have wrong things, right, is that we assume ourselves has to be body. Human being means we assume has to be body and try to operate and think at that level. And we assume that for more and more respect, I have to be a dean, I have to be director, I have to be in a big car, I have to be building more and more physical facilities, clothes and position. We thought will give more respect, whereas you just observe on any given day. So we all work in colleges, right? So who gets most scoldings, right? As we speak, as you speak with colleagues, for commonly, about whom you are talking badly, right? Who you're talking badly, the person at a lower position, or the person at the who are you cursing most of the time? The person below you or the person above you? Right? The more and more higher position, the more and more people curse. But then we all think that the higher position person is enjoying, so he gets more respect. So everybody is acting in front of him, or all of them have very genuine respect for him, right? When your principal comes, all of people are standing, or acting in certain manner. Is it real respect, right? So that we can reflect on. But then we concluded that more physical versus more position is what is respect. And another popular or the prevalent confusion we have is with respect to this statement called the needs are unlimited, right? See, if the needs are unlimited, not even one person on the earth can be happy, right? Needs are not unlimited. We have interpreted it wrongly, that the happiness requirement is continuous. If I have to depend on the stuff, if I have to depend on some things for happiness, obviously I'll need unlimited things, right? So the main problem comes by assuming that for happiness I depend on the things. If I equate happiness to the things, and then things, the amount of things I need will be unlimited. But then the real happiness in having the clarity, having resolution in me, having this harmony in me, having good relations, that's what is the source of happiness, not the physical facilities. So this continuous requirement is unfortunately equated to unlimited, and we all get into this trap that I need a lot more things all the time, and then we never feel prosperous, right? So by these wrong equations, with these three wrong equations, that I assume myself to the body, I assume for more respect I have to get more physical facilities, and I assume that since I need respect and happiness continuously, right, I need to get a lot of stuff, unlimited stuff. So I go on in a spree. What is this spree of accumulating more and more physical facilities? How much? Unlimited. and we get into trouble. So I always feel deprived. I may be starting with some, some 50,000 salary. My salary may become 10 lakhs also, but I'll still feel deprived. Even if somebody asks 100 rupees donation, I cannot. I go to vegetables and still bargain for 2 rupees. So that will be my level, independent of, whatever amount of money I have. That's because these three wrong equations are, my governing equation. You have a governing equation for any physical system, right? Any human being also is running with these three, wrong equations. Having right equations is right understanding that I am the self. I need to have right feelings, right understanding in me. I need to have good relations, right? If we work from that level, right, and then we can be, continuous, be happy. So again, just to repeat the point, operating at this level is animal consciousness, right? And then at a full circle is the human consciousness, right? So these things. So somebody asked, it's explained in the previous session. Somebody asked, so what is this, prosperity about? See, the prosperity about the feeling of having more than what is required. See, so you have certain amount of money. Somebody asked what is prosperity. I'm just explaining, repeating. See, we all need certain physical facilities. Yes or no? When I say physical facilities, you need house, you need food, you need clothes, you need, footwear, you need, many things, right? We all need this, right? Now, question is, do I feel that I have enough, whatever I need? Do I have more than required or not? Do I have that feeling? Having that feeling is prosperity, right? Having that feeling is prosperity, right? If I don't have that feeling, right, and then the opposite of the prosperity is deprivation. Now, what is the feeling of deprivation? Like if I feel that I don't have enough, right, what will I do immediately? I will give priority to accumulating more and more physical facilities, more and more. My focus will be physical facilities. So that means I'll be operating with the small circle, that red circle of physical facilities itself is the life. That is the kind of the level of operation I'll do. But then that is not that's going to take me more and more towards the animal conscious level, and then I'll not be happy, right? I have to work at physical facilities also, relationship also, right understanding also. And what is the way out? The way out is this. I have to first of all find out what is my real requirement of physical facilities. What is my real requirement of physical facilities? What is the role of physical facilities? First of all, what for this food is required? Food is required for nurturing of my body. What for clothes are required? For protection of my body. What for some more things like house are required? Protection of the body. Why do you need a phone? Right? You want to call people at a long distance, right? You want some things like this. These are all required to enhance your capacity. See, I am sitting in Warangal, right, speaking to you, so many people, right, sitting at different cities. Now the laptop is useful, this headphone is useful, right, power supply is useful. All these things are required so that the capacity of my body is enhanced. I am wanting to do something meaningful. Through these things I am able to do this, right? So either for nurture, either for protection or enhancing the capacity of the body, we need things, right? If I come from this clarity, I can determine for myself how many things I need, right? Now I want to enhance the capacity of body. I want, let us say, a speaker. I am teaching in the classroom. I want a speaker, right, the amplifier, to reach 100 people. Then I'll be able to easily buy what is that speaker. But then the moment I want to show that, I have a trendy speaker and I'm looking for some design, right? I'm looking at some aesthetics, the look of it, the brand of it, so many things, so that I may be perceived as some fashionable fellow or a trendy fellow and all. That's where I get into trouble. That means I'm not expecting nutrition, I'm not expecting protection, I'm not expecting enhancing my capacity of the body. What I'm expecting now is some respect, some appreciation from the others. So I'm using physical facilities for appreciation of the others. That is where I get into trouble, and my requirement of the physical facilities goes up, up, up. So I get into trouble. That is the equation. So when we understand that the role of the physical facility is only three things: nutrition, right? Nurture, that is the nurture of the body, the protection of the body, enhancing the capacity of the body. Only these three things. You know, if I have a bike, if I have a car, I can go fast. That it enhances, you know, my capacity to the speed at what speed I can travel than walk, right? Only these three things any physical facility will do. Other than these three things, if I do, you see, if I build a house, if I look from protection angle, I will build in such a way. But if I look from, you know, whether by this house will I get recognition, will I feel respect, then I'll build it in a different way. That is how we get into trouble, right? So we have, in the light of the clarity, that's why the clarity is more important, right? Your clarity, how much money, you know, will be enough, very important, right? So without this clarity, I will never be able to find out how much required. Only when I found out, see, the how much I need is X, what I have is Y. How much I need is X, what I have is Y. We want Y to be greater than X. What I have should be greater than what I need. But then if I don't decide what is the value of the X, how Y can be greater than X? For a Y, what is Y? What I have. What is X? How much I need. If I don't, I am not ready to define the value of X, but I want Y to be greater than X. How is it possible? So that is where we get into trouble. We don't have the clarity, means to be able to decide the value of the X. Then I make plan to gather more than the X, right? And I have certain quantity, Y quantity, and then I feel prosperous, right? Right. So I'll take few questions here. Somebody is asking, what is the limitation of, you know, the physical facility? The physical facility, let's say, take some example, food or a sweet or an ice cream. What it can do is it can, you know, give you some happiness for a moment. For a moment or for a short time. You switch on AC, for some time you will feel. But then let's say you and your wife are sleeping in a room, and then the AC is on, then you feel nice. But after that you get into an argument with your wife, right? Do you think the new model of the AC can settle down your argument? A new model of the air condition can settle down your argument? And will it help you to get, you know, nice sleep even though you have argument with your wife? That's the limitation of physical facility, right? It can help you body level at some extent, only for a momentary happiness, you know, short term happiness it can give. Any physical facility cannot give you continuous happiness, right? Another question is, what is happiness and how it can be determined in daily life? It's very simple, right? You can just look in within self, are you happy or not? The way, the state in which you are in, let's say I'm in certain state, you are in certain mood, certain state. You would like to continue in that state, or you want a change of the state, right? Now, you know, with the physical system, right? We say stable, we say unstable, right? If you are in a stable state, you want to continue, you are feeling good inside, you want to continuity of it. That is what is happiness, right? Whereas if you're in an excited thing, or you're in, you know, some disturbance, you want to move away from it. That is when you would like to switch on the TV, look at your mobile, check your WhatsApp, you know, things like this. If you are in a state where you would like to continue, so that's what we are calling as, you know, happiness. And then that state we want all continue. So is prosperity directly proportional to the happiness? Prosperity directly proportional to the happiness. Yeah, so both are connected in a way, right? Both come from the clarity. If I don't have the clarity, yeah, there will be disturbance of the happiness also. There will be disturbance of the prosperity also, because happiness, we are saying, comes from, you know, relationship and your clarity. Prosperity coming from your physical facility. If the clarity itself, the topmost clarity itself is missing, there will be an issues in the happiness also and the prosperity also. Right? How do we keep a limit on physical requirements and relationship requirements? Right? Sizu is asking, how do we keep a limit on physical requirement and relationship? Just now I explained, right? As far as physical facilities are concerned, they are good for only three things: nurture, protection, and enhancing the capacity of my body. Only the three things: nurturing of my body, protection of my body, enhancing of my body, right? Only these three things are served by the physical facilities. So just see what all you have at home and what each physical entity is helping you. Based on that, you can decide how much actually we need. And as far as relationship is concerned, see what is acceptable to you. You want to be related with very few, or we want to be related with everyone? What is acceptable to you? Your question is like, what is the limit on number of people we want to feel related, right? So what is acceptable to you? You want to relate it to everyone or some? What is acceptable to us is that we want to feel related to everyone. There is no limit on the relationship, right? So let me see some more questions. Yeah, what may be strategy to manage happiness in tough times? Yeah, I'll come to that. Yeah, I'll come to that questions, right? So it is said, aspirations propel and fuel effort. If we are satisfied with ourselves, won't we become complacent? Yeah. See, it's like this, right? All of us have this. We are actually forgetting that all of us this innate desire to excel. Do you again ask for yourself? Do you want to excel? Do you want to achieve excellence or not? Do you want to achieve excellence or not? What is acceptable? Being excellent or not? Acceptable. We are forgetting, we are not even aware that by default every single person has acceptance for the excellence. Like we don't need actually external motivation to work better, to develop ourselves. We came to this conclusion that you need to have struggle, you need to have some problem, then only you will work, otherwise you will not work. That is the level of animal consciousness. The human consciousness, one we are aware, we want to excel. The excellence will become our target. Once my goal is clear that I want to excel in all aspects of my life, and you don't need actually rewards, you don't need any these problems to work further. So this clarity, this UHV, through UHV, right, we are talking about resetting your goal. What is the objective of the thing? So in a way, you have to put it in a punchline. So the goal is not the goal. That to become something, right? To get something is not the goal. To be something is the real goal. In that paradigm shift, you don't need any external thing to work further. Do things. So when we say aspiration is, when we are not saying that there is no aspiration, we are saying that we have a much bigger aspiration now. My aspiration is not only become professor, not only become head or director, get money, I want to achieve excellence in every aspect of the life, under which all these are small steps. Much bigger target we are talking about. So when we have much bigger target, right, we will be happy in the journey and do lot more things. So somebody asked question about the respect. The respect will be handled tomorrow and day after tomorrow. When it comes to relationships topic, it will be handled, right? And then somebody asked, how will you get continuous happiness? I'll answer that, right? The continuous happiness, right? So it's like this, right? Maybe I'll explain this thing with the slide, right? I have a slide for that. Yeah, this. So please pay attention. So happiness is a state of harmony within oneself, with other human being, and with the natural environment, right? And then further we are saying happiness is within. This is everlasting. We are talking about everlasting continuous happiness. It can come only from when we develop the wisdom, love and compassion and necessary physical facilities. See, again, don't say that you are talking about wisdom and love and not talking about money. Money is required. We are talking about lot of money, not small money, a lot of money, so much money that it is more than your requirement. That money. But we are also saying that apart from the money, in addition to the money, you need to have this wisdom. You need to have this feeling of love and compassion inside us. And this comes from right understanding, having this clarity. Then we can be happy. But as of now, where are we operating? I have a blue bar, and below that you see the text in the red color. As of now, we are trying for happiness from outside. When we say outside, what? We are trying from physical facilities. Like I look at mobile. Right, I'm listening to this class, but on other side I'm watching a movie, or I'm checking WhatsApp, right? I'm talking with somebody else. through that I am trying to be happy from some external source or some sensation, right? Watching a movie or having a coffee and eating some item, right? All these are through the body, through the body, one of the sensory organs. I'm trying to get some happiness. You do get some happiness, but that is for only for a moment, right? Or you just show your ego, or you dominate over a person. You want to become in a bigger position. Why? Because you can dominate for some people. You can be boss of somebody, but you yourself will verify you are being bossed by somebody. Is it okay for you to be under some boss? Not okay. They always have opposition feeling to you. The moment you behave like a boss, other person has opposition feeling towards you, right? That won't be acceptable. Even if they act in front of you, they pretend in front of you, that is not continuous, right? They'll just go out and talk something else. And then by being a boss, we are trying to respect from others. So what are our presently outside sources, right? We get some physical facility like food or movie or whatever, ice cream or whatever, and through some sensation, through bossing over others, and then trying to be famous, trying to be, I'll publish some papers, I'll become this great teacher and everybody will appreciate me, right? Get some awards through feelings from the others. Basically others think about me in a great manner. When you say feelings from the others, how others think about me, based on that I want to be happy or unhappy. So these are all outside sources, whether it is coming from the things or people or through my body. These are all outside. What? But the continuous happiness can come only from the inside. So what is inside? When I have clarity in me, when I have the compassion and love inside me for every single person, and that is when I can be happy, right? As long as we are depending on the outside, they cannot be a continuous happiness. Whereas, but at the same time, this may look utopian, this may look an impossible thing, but then check in yourself. This is our basic requirement. It is not utopian, it is human. It is human. Every single person can achieve this. Every single person needs this only. We are running away from ourselves, and then we are just overeating. All of us have 10%, 20%, 30% extra weight, most of us. And then we are oversleeping, getting into some things which take away our mind from our own inner world, right? That's what we are trying to do, because this happiness requirement is so continuous. All the time it is required, and we are not able to supply it all the time, because we are depending from the external sources. Only when we shift ourselves from outside sources to inside sources, that is when we can be continuously happy. Yeah, relationship questions tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So after a very good clarity between two, is prosperity matter for their happiness? Question is not clear, sorry. Is all depression leads to suicides? Yes, some depressions can lead to whether all depression lead or not, I don't know. Okay, but some people are lazy and have laid back attitude. What about them? Think about yourself, right? See, everybody is at their own level, right? So the more and more body level we operate, we think that by pampering the body, by laying down, by sleeping, by eating, we can be more and more happy, right? Only possibility is to help as many as possible through this UHV or any other content, through family, through behavior with them, right? Draw their attention to this thing, that whatever the level of happiness you are trying to achieve, right? Trying to achieve through the body, right? There can be much higher state of living. The living could be much better. That is the attention we can help them to draw there. So somebody is asking, how can I realize with real happiness even my son avoids me? Yeah, this is so unfortunate. Within the families, actually within the families, though we have the such deep biological relationship, somebody is my son, somebody is my brother, somebody my son, my sister, but then they are avoiding to pick my phone, they are avoiding to have a nice heart to heart conversation. Why is this? It is such a pathetic situation, and that makes us so unhappy, right? right? This is again a relationship question that will be taken up tomorrow and day after, but let me at least draw some attention. Right, as of now we are not able to see, let's say father and son. I have two children, one is 5-year old, other is a 10-year old. Right, what is the feeling I have towards them? The moment they don't study, the moment they don't do what I say, right, we are unhappy, our behavior changes with them. Right, the unfortunate, the strongest thing most parents have is that I want my son or daughter to do the way I like. What you want to do? What I want to do is I want to do what I like. I don't want to be dictated by somebody else. But what you want your son and daughter, you don't want them to do in the way they like. You want them to follow you. Right? So many of the times that's what creates a rift, a gap between the children and the parents. Right, there are so many ways a person can live. There are so many ways to do the things. The same content is taught by every single person in a different way. Right, and we think that if my son doesn't do this, entire life is gone. No, there are people who do in so many ways. So many ways can work. There are hundreds and thousands of ways of earning livelihood and reputation, but then we are attached to few ways. When they deviate from our own aspirations, our feeling inside us towards our own children itself is getting disturbed, and that is so unfortunate. Right, so please be aware of what feeling you have inside towards your son, what feeling you have towards your son. And if that feeling is not positive, and see why that is not positive. Is it because he's not listening to you? Is it because he's underperforming? Is it because there is some issue? Like that, you have to reflect again and again and deeply inside, and have this positive feeling inside you. With that feeling, when we conduct with your child, he will respond so positively. Why he will respond so positively? With what confidence I am telling? The confidence is this: because every single person, whether it is your son, my son, your daughter, my daughter, whoever it is, your student, my student, right, every single person has this curiosity and wants to be live in a right manner. He also wants to be happy. He also wants to do right things only. As of now, since the clarity is missing, the way it is missing in me, it is missing in the child. Hence, he may be doing things in an arbitrary manner, rebellious manner, wrong manner. But for that matter, I am also doing it in wrong manner. I know that maybe taking tea is not healthy, but I drink every day. I know that morning walking is good. Am I walking every day? I know that certain amount of practices will help me boost my immunity. Every day I read so many corona news, but I don't do much to boost my immunity. Same is with the child. When these things, if we understand, there is a paradigm shift inside. With that, when we conduct, whether it is our son or student, everybody will listen to us, and the relationship will be much better. We have to keep this thing, that things related to the physical facility and things related to skills part of the education is actually very, very less important. The what is more important? Relationship. Let's say my son is not performing well in education. Right, at that time, right, will I put the grades, the percentage of marks my son gets at a higher priority, or relationship with my son as higher priority? Which one I choose? I choose marks or son? The moment I choose marks over the son and do some things which will damage the relationship, that's it. You have taken a insurance scheme to spoil relationship with his son. Right, we are putting money over relationship. Your wife went for shopping and spent 1,000 rupees extra. 1,000 is more important, your wife is more important. The moment you choose 1,000, that's it, you're spoiled. That's why this clarity of right understanding relationship and the physical facilities, everything has to be at its own place. We cannot over evaluate something, under evaluate some. Right, everything has to be given its place, and then our behavior, our plan for the life will be accordingly. Right, how to neglect negative thought and people that motivate, that demotivate. Sir, again, right, we have to see if somebody is demotivating me. Right, what is my level? Am I so weak that somebody can say 4 things and I get demotivated? Do I not have clarity? It's like you have a computer and smallest virus is affecting you. You have your own antivirus. Right, I have to be strong enough that that guy demotivate me. Rather, by in every person, in every interaction with me, the other person will get boosted. Every person that comes to me will get boosted. He will get motivated. It's not that I am getting demotivated. Why cannot be at that level? Increase my level, increase your level, work on your own, self development. We become prosperous, won't we stop seeking for excellence? And if it's yes, then how would we compete with other nations regarding defense technology and such aspects and much all real security of the nation? Okay. First thing, you have question, Gautam Kalita, right? Your question is in two parts. At individual level, when we say prosperous, means I have more things than required. Immediately, what will happen if I have more things than required? I will share. With whom I'll share? With whoever I feel related with them, I'll share. With whoever I don't feel related, you don't share. But if I don't have feeling of prosperity, I don't share with anybody. Rather, I try to snatch, right? That is at individual level. Similarly, at the nation level, at the society level also, this prosperity will flow. We will help other nations and we will build bonds. See, the main issue, why do we think we need defense department technology for killing other people? Entire defense technology is about how quickly you can kill other people, particularly the people at far distance. The farther the people you can kill, the great you are. Why? Because we have bad relations with the countries, right? For that, the reason may be other person or person. As long as we have bad relations, we need to have defense technology. I'm not saying that don't have defense technology, but what is the sustainable solution? Sustainable solution is it more and more defense technology or friendship? The permanent solution for war between nations is friendship or superior defense technology, which will solve the problem, right? So the friendship is the ultimate solution, but meanwhile the other person is not ready to listen. Meanwhile, we need defense technology. So some effort I'll put in defense technology and more effort I'll put in the friendship, because I have the clarity that ultimately relationship is the main thing, right? Because I'm lacking relationship, more and more aircrafts I will need, whether it is Rafale, whether it is ASAT or whatever technology. Why I'm needing these things? Because I have too many countries with whom I have bad relations, right? Ultimately, this is what will help. So that is why that small circle, big circle implication is this much. Whether it is college level, individual level, nation level, we have to work as a nation, as a society at right understanding, high priority, relationship high priority, and then the physical facilities. I hope it made some sense. Whatever level, is it possible to achieve happiness if the people living around do not follow the parallel path? So the one word answer is yes. So the precise point of happiness is this: whether for happiness, do I depend on other people? Yes. If I'm depending, obviously I cannot be happy all the time. There cannot be, a point of time where everybody is behaving well. If everybody is behaving well, then only I will be happy today. If that is my mode of operation, my unhappiness is guaranteed. If I be in a state where independent of how others are behaving, I will not get disturbed. Independent of what others are behaving, others are doing, I will not get disturbed. If I reach that state where I am not getting affected by other people, then I can be, possibly I can be, in a continuous happy state, and that is possible. I can tell you, right? I've been practicing living this, UHV quite a few years. I can, 100% tell you that I am not disturbed by anybody within the family, within the with colleagues, extended family, right? I think whether what my sister says, what my brother says, I clearly know what they are going to say. I clearly know their concerns. I clearly know their complaints. I clearly know what they think of me, right? But that does not, disturb me. Why? Because I have this clarity inside me, from where they are coming, right? What are their issues? What are their expectations? And how much I do for it also is clear. I do whatever needs to be done, and I also know what will be their response accordingly, right? I am clear in me, right? How happiness matters for good life. Sir, how happiness matters for good life? What is good life? right? Happiness is good life for me. Right? What is meant by good life? You mean good life is, holiday in a island or what? Right? So happiness is the basic aspiration, right? Everything else, the good life, so called good life, which we popularly use it for a pampered higher physical facilities, all kinds of sensations, whatever possible sensations, you can get, we are calling that as a good life. But there is a, by definition, by nature, no sensation can last longer, right? Can you, have a vodka, can you drink alcohol and be happy for 20 hours, 30 hours? It has a limit. Can you drink, smoke and be happy for a long time? No, they are just momentary and short time. The long term happiness, the permanent happiness, everlasting happiness is possible only by, the developing clarity in me, right? uh, is it good to ignore someone who is not ready to understand me? That's a very good point. Again, this part comes under, relationship. It will be discussed at that point. See, it's like this. So I have some clarity, the other person have some other clarity. In my judgment, other person is lacking, certain amount of clarity, let us say. So it depends on me if I am capable enough. See, there are two things: what relation I have with him. The other person already may be thinking I myself is a useless fellow, right? If other person thinking that I am a useless fellow, will he listen to me? Right? There is no chance. First thing is that we have to work out in a nice relation with that person. Part one. Then there is a bridge. There is a network connection happened between me and the other person. If other person, the relation is not there, even if I have competence in me to make other person understand, he won't listen and he will, it will not work out. So what do I have to do? Try for building good relation with that person and wait for that opportunity. There will be a time, on some day he himself will ask you, it looks like you are able to figure out this thing, can you tell me how it happens? Right? Prosperity can be wealth and happiness and respect as well. Prosperity, yeah, prosperity has got to do with the physical facilities. So one can be wealthy and not still feel, prosperous. If somebody has, thousands of crores but still cheating, still getting into corruption, wealth and prosperity is not automatic. Wealth plus clarity is prosperity, right? Only wealth, only rich is there is no guarantee, right? What about bullying people? How to deal with it? I think this I have handled. That it is about, here you are not dealing with the person who is bullying you. You deal with yourself. Why are you getting affected when other person is bullying? You saw these movies, right? Gandhigiri movies, right? Right. So how they can actually bully you only when you can react, right? If I myself are not, see, nobody can bully, if I am not, getting affected by it. So it is not dealing with other person, it is dealing yourself. It is dealing yourself, right? Sir, if you have a chance of social awareness, which topic do you choose? The question is not clear to me. Apuji, whoever. Sir, if you have a chance for social awareness, which topic? I don't know. The question is actually not clear to me. I think all this UHV and all for me is actually working at a society level. How can I help a student who got addicted to drugs to motivate that person to leave drugs since he's unwilling to go to rehab center? Yeah, this is a very severe problem. It's a tough problem, right? First thing is that if you have a relation with that person, we can have a conversation very clearly and accept that person first of all, right? Many of the times, see, since it is drugs, we are saying he is an addict. See, we ourselves is addicted to news. But news addiction is not considered as bad as a drug addict, but it is equally bad. Somebody is addicted to the serials. Somebody is addicted to so many. Every one of is addicted to something or the other, right? So when we have this kind of broader perspective, and then our handling of that person will be different. We will accept them as very normal, very normal. And you yourself, see, if you want to guide that person, you choose one addiction you have, you get out of that addiction, you will know the process of getting out of that addiction, right? If you are somebody who's using the phone, you phone a lot, you cut down your phone by 50% and then go and guide that person. You will understand, how to guide, an addicted person. Then you will be a lot more compassionate with that person, right? Yeah. So let me see how to make a person understand who uses is a, so a lot of relationship questions, right? Since I have not covered that content, right? Not covered that content, so I am not taking all relationship questions. Tomorrow and day after it will be there. So how to reach a state when the environment, events, and people around you don't affect you? I mean, if you see unfair, unethical practice around you, you are bound to get affected. No, you are not bound to get affected. It is a choice you have. You even now also just pay attention. There are hundreds of things that are going wrong. Only certain things you are getting affected. Certain things you don't get affected. Why you get affected by certain things? Because those things you have assumed to be very, very important. So many things are happening wrongly. You are not getting affected. Somebody is crossing the road in a wrong manner. Are you getting affected? But a traffic police standing there may be getting affected, right? You yourself are eating unhealthy. Are you disturbed because you thought it is okay as long as it's tasty, right? So we have to develop this clarity. The clarity when we say, please understand you yourself as an individual, harmoniate your individual at a family. What is it meant by being good in relationship, and what is it meant by having prosperity, right? Understand yourself, family, society, nature. Then only we can be clear. We can be clear and not get affected by any external things, right? So how can we relate the state of happiness with metabolic condition of our brain or body? Very good question. Very good question. In fact, see, it's very simple. See, what I'm saying that just observe, observe, observe. See, have you not observed, right? Whenever you are afraid of something, what was your heartbeat? Right? When you are very sad, what level of energy you felt in the body? Right? When you heard of some bad news, see, when you fought with your wife, or some with your sister, with some family member, and then and how did you felt inside, right? Naturally, the condition of yourself inside, whatever is your inside condition, has an effect on your body. That comes from your brain to hormones to entire metabolism, right? So the body health is very deeply connected with with the health of the self. The more and more harmony we try to be, the body will be much and much healthier condition. Jealousy people, again relationship question, so I'll not take now. I'll not take now. Okay, fine. So I just have Yogesh, I have only 10 minutes, right? Up to 4:15, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. 4:15. So I think a lot of questions. I have taken some. I'll stop taking questions now. Social media and bringing happiness amongst students. Yeah, I'll stop questions now. So I have few things wanted to present, right? I'll do that. So particularly, since we are all, faculty members in engineering colleges or whatever colleges you are in, right? So I myself, fortunately, I've been introduced to this thing as a student even before I graduated. So at IIT Kanpur, and then I've been trying to live this as much as possible. There are ups and downs, but then some good things have happened. So those are the things I want to, share by taking few more minutes. See, as you start putting relationship at higher priority than the physical facilities, right? Then things you like, see, likes, dislikes, benefits, loss, right? More than this, I put relationship at higher priority. Then your relationship will be, a big improvement will happen. There will be a lot of boosting. Let's say, every semester we face this situation, right? Which course you want to teach, and you have very, very severe disliking and liking for certain courses you really like, as if that is your most important thing. Certain courses you dislike. So when such a decision comes, and some other colleague also want to teach this, so what will be your behavior? Right? Will you put the course of your liking at a higher level, or relationship with that colleague at a higher level? Right? If I am able to transcend my liking and disliking, if I'm ready to work little more to teach a new course because I value my relationship with the colleague, that is when the shift happens. That is when living whatever I said, relationship is more important than the physical facilities. That is the statement. Living that statement means this. I'm giving more importance to my colleague than my likes, dislikes, and my amount of effort that goes in courses. That's how you live. And then let's say you are writing a project, right? You are a co-PI or PI. You are doing a coordinator. You are a coordinator or co-coordinator or co-co-co-co-coordinator, right? So these are the things we are fighting with colleagues. You try to put relationship at a higher place, right? And can be consistent with it, right? And your relationship will be so strong with the colleagues. I've been practicing this, right? And then my colleagues, with several of my colleagues, such a deeper relations are there. Now, if I go and work with them, they themselves will ask me to put my name as first in a paper. They'll ask me, and I'll show you the books. It's there also, right? So they'll ask me to put, my name. Will be fair enough. Last time it was like this. No, why don't you take this course? They themselves will ask me. Last time you gave this me course, but you take now. So these kind of things will happen the way they happen in our home, right? So personally, when I do this, across the department, within the department, in the institute, when I work at this level, putting real relationship at high priority, I have benefited more than I have lose. We think that we lose, but then actually there is more benefit. And then this leads to collaborations. The friendship is so deep now that even if the research area is different, we want to be joint guides, we want to have joint projects, right? We want to organize FDPs, because it is always a joy with working with people, with whom you have relationship, a good relationship, and together you think of what you can do better for the college. And then in fact, in the department, I have very good relation with, particularly with a few colleagues. In fact, entire institutes recognizes us as a group of friends rather than as individual. So they talk of me, I have one friend called Kiran, another friend called Karthik, other friends, and then they talk of us as a group, right? Because that's the kind of relationship we have cultivated. And then we do so many things together, and then we get mutually benefited, right? And all the institute wants us to collaborate. What institute wants, what any ranking agency want, is more and more collaboration, right? And particularly with the senior colleagues. And there is always, within the families, generation gap, father, son, grandparents, and the grandson, this difference is there, right? But then here we have to value a senior colleague has certain things, certain strength, right? And as a junior colleague, we have certain strength, and they lack something, we lack something. When we understand this complementarity, I'll just take one example. One of our senior colleagues who is considered great teacher. So I understood this, and then I want to cultivate some good qualities. For one full semester, I went and sat in every single lecture of his course, and I learned how to teach so many things. Even if it has to draw a straight line, horizontal, vertical, and he'll draw with such a care on the board, and I got inspired by it and then lent it. And after that, such a reverence I developed for him, for the excellence he achieved in the teaching. And then we together, organized, some more FDPs, worked on a book, right? And I helped him in writing a book on these basic subjects. These days nobody talks about the basic subjects. That's the foundation of the academics. People want to talk about IoT, data, and these things. Nobody wants to talk about mechanics of it, kinematics, thermodynamics, these things, right? But that's the foundation. So we did a lot of work with the along with the senior colleague. And then when we do this relationship at the higher priority, and the even when we conduct FDPs, we conduct ourselves, we behave such with such a feeling of relationship, and all of them feel so nice, they all feel related, and they go back to their college and they invite us for talk, right? This is what anybody wants in a profession. You want to get recognition, you want invited talks, like that. And when we put the relationship at a higher priority, and more MTech and PhD students wants to work with me, every semester, right? I have students who are not belonging to my MTech specialization, to which I teach also. They find out about me and wanting to work work with me year after year. This happened, this is happening. Why? Because students know that if I work with this person, I'll develop, I'll learn so much. It will be so comfortable to work with him, apart from the technical expertise, right? So that happens. And then we all want good feedback for the teaching. That is important also, right? So when we look at this feedback, and I can even show you also, in some courses I have 5 out of 5 rating, 4.8, 4.9 also have this rating, because entire there is a shift in the teaching, right? Apart from the preparation for the subject, on which you have to have a very strong grip, but I also have this bigger aspect of I have to guide my students, right? These are my students. I have a feeling of relationship. Now I deeply have, before I go class, not only I am prepared for my subject, I know the all the math, all the equations, everything, but I also checking inside. Do I have a feeling of relationship with these students? Am I teaching to the wall? Am I teaching to the board? Am I teaching to the benches, or am I teaching to the people? That kind of feeling I have or not, that's the kind of preparation, inside preparation, that goes into my teaching. And then naturally the students feel lot more connected. That will translate into your your feedback, or a lot of innovations in teaching. In fact, whenever I take a course, even though I'm repeating the same course for many times, every time in the beginning of the class itself, I tell them, see, these are the questions I gave last 5 years or whatever years I have taught. These are the questions I gave in the exam, and all these questions you take it. I make all my questions public and challenge myself that I will not repeat a single question in the coming exams. So you go and solve these questions. So but then if you can solve all these questions, you can solve any question I'm going to give. So like this, lot of, through that, lot of innovations have happened. I'm challenging myself and achieving certain amount of excellence in the teaching, right? So this is a shift that happened in my teaching. And naturally when you do these things, and my perspective is also very higher, compared to a narrow perspective of promotion oriented, salary oriented, feedback oriented. I have much bigger perspective. We are working for betterment of the students, betterment of the institute, betterment of the department. If anybody having this kind of perspective will be recognized, you are asked to request for, take additional positions, whether it is deans and whatever positions, right? The many of the times people are looking for positions. What the higher people are looking is, they are looking for the people who don't look for positions, rather have responsibility and do a good job at it. So I got quite a few offers of these positions. So many times I've rejected. Only recently I've accepted one position, and the promotions are happening in government systems, in particularly NITs and all. So many things are pending, but then I've got every promotion, everything, on time, and then, more benefits than I deserve probably. And not only that, when you have a genuine concern for the student, not only you will do your job, your job, you will take initiatives. We have taken, I have been part of many initiatives which voluntarily I myself have started. People struggle, when choosing a college, which college I should choose. They have so many doubts, but IITs and NITs are not doing to clear the doubts of the students. So I was part of an initiative where I've taken, we organized an event where we invited all the prospective students of NITs and IITs and clear their doubts. We have taken such initiative, even when very simple routine task of helping people in getting admitted and all. In that also, we think student friendly manner, arrange things and do it. And the induction program is the biggest thing I've been part of in my institute. I would like to believe that we have done one of the best in the country, our induction program. If time permits, some other day I'll talk about it. I have beautiful details to share in the induction program. We have done in such a great manner, and then with that, there's a lot of transformation that happened in many of my colleagues, because I have to prepare at least 30-40 colleagues in the institute. As a UHV, as a platform, now I have such deep undoubted relationship, at least with 30 to 40 people in the institute. As a UHV, as a platform that got established. Now across the department, I can get things done by anywhere, almost in the institute. Even a dean or director also may not be able to get some things done. I can be able to get things done because the relationship is there, right? And then we realize that we have to work with the non-teaching staff in the institute. So we have had this UHV workshop for entire non-teaching. We have about 250 of them working as clerks. The cook, starting from the attenders to the peons to the cook in the mess to everybody. We had this workshop, and through that, every single person knows me, right? Every single person, we have this content, whether they transformed or not, but they know that, okay, this guy is like this. So much of positive response I get. All of us in the college, we always complain about account section that they are not accepting this bill, or they are delaying this bill and that bill. But with me, it so happens that whenever I put bill in the entire history of this my 8 years, no single bill got rejected. In fact, all the time, sometimes they themselves tell me, sir, you are eligible for some more amount than this thing, please resubmit with some more amount also. So that's the kind of cooperation we get from teaching staff if you work out with clarity in the relationship. And we also took initiative to implement the UHV at the college level. It is very important that the top management of the institute also understands it. But then they will come only for inauguration valedictory. They won't come and sit in this session for the entire day. But how do you make them participate? We did something for that also. We came out with out of the box, very innovative ways of doing the things. We took all the senior faculty, including our director, to a place other than the Warangal, and then outside the city at one place we made in a nice setting, and then there we had a workshop by Professor Pradeep, and then all of them have actually attended, and the nice consensus is built. Now any proposal related to human values you put, everybody is positive. They may not come and teach it, but they know that it is a good thing. So such kind of the environment shift can happen, right? And and in my own personal priority also, there is a higher and higher priority I'm giving for the deep work. Some work is very superficial. Just coordinating an FDP is very, very, very superficial. What is the deep work is writing a book. Deep work is to do an R&D. That is deep work. And transformational level, potentially a transforming kind of level. And always having what for we are here in the institute for the students. So college is not for you. You are there for the college. The college is there for the student. So that kind of shift is there in me, and the UHV can bring that kind of shift, and then we become more trustworthy, right? In the you become trustworthy. The entire college, entire department, colleagues start trusting you. And when you become trustworthy, that is what gives you job security. Many of in the private colleges, and people think that we will be fired, they're not paying us and doing this. But then see, the real job security comes from how much clarity we have, right? I should be working in such a way that the institute wants me to be there, not I want institute wants, the college wants me to be there. That's the level of my commitment. That can come only when we work for my bigger objective. I'm not working for my salary, but I have a bigger objective. I want to work on a bigger purpose. This college provides me that platform. That's why I'm here, not for my salary. Salary will come anyway. If that is the perspective I have, this bigger circle I'm talking about, clarity, relationship, physical facilities, if we are able to shift by in the light of this UHE, if we are able to shift to this level, live with right understanding, and that is when a lot of beautiful things can happen in our life. We will be a reason for many good things to happen. So the UHV, I feel is a game changer, and then potentially can bring better academic environment in the college. So there are some more details. I'll leave those things, right? I'll just put my contact details at the end and stop it. So thank you. I hope session helped, or it was of some use, right? Several questions are there. Yeah, somebody asked how many problems you have faced in your life which were unsurmountable. How did you react to those problems? Unfortunately or fortunately, I didn't face. What actually I feel is that there's nothing. The thing we want to do it. We ourselves are transcending from our individual benefit to a larger benefit. We are working at the level of natural acceptance, the things which are naturally acceptable to everyone. At such level, actually there won't be any conflicts. We are not able to see a world, a proposal where there cannot be conflict. There can be a universal acceptance on the things that we are not able to visualize. When you put forward such proposal, they cannot be much of the things. And even if there is an opposition, what is the hurry, right? We are not bound by the time. Let's wait for some more time. So that kind of situation will not even arise when you have this clarity. So let me see some questions.
It's almost over, Hari sir, I think.
Yeah, okay, we'll stop here. So thank you.